These towers bear a secret. To find out what, we must travel to their inception and become their architects.
In the beginning, the wizard desired to make 2 elven towers that would feel as if they were alive with arcane magics. For this, he would need a few things. He found these elven tower STLs on myminifactory.com. These are by DeVale Games, and in no way was he sponsored by either of these. He would peruse his powerful pigments until he came across some colors that he desired. To add magic and power to his towers, he decided to walk the path of the LED. Yet he did not know of such power and did not possess the tools to do so. Thankfully, he belonged to an order of wizards, the Creatori, and one such of his order knew of a great artificer. David of the realm of TerrainTronics, who sent forth this dope LED starter pack. For the moment, the wizard was happy, content even. And then his mind was given to pause. He was thrown back into the memoryscape and came to a time where he tried to put lights in his brother's model car but fucked it instead because soldering. He put his tools aside. He would come back to this later, he thought, with great trepidation. So he set forth to begin his process, and he would do it in the usual manner. Indeed, in the only way he knew how.
Hit me again. Yeah, hit me again with the brush. Yeah, hit me again with that brush. What does that even mean?
Here's 2 towers, printed and ready, yet he thought they needed something to hold them firm and steady. Looking at the space inside the body for the LEDs, he was hit so hard with the thought that he wasn't even ready for these magnets.
Wizard checked the polarity of the magnets, be the right way. The result of doing this wrong could of course be tragic.
Ah, look, it fits like magic.
Ah, wizard on a progress stick, don't get thrown off, never get distracted. Hang on, what was I saying?
Hey, now he's back on track. Gotta glue these magnets, put green pen on the back
Of the corresponding versions of the roof pot, which is turning into something that attracts together rather than reversing. Time to prime, and for your protection, let's not waste time on this boring section.
He used an airbrush cause he was in a rush, and he felt pretty bad cause he hadn't used it much.
Automatic blue to travel nicely through. The airbrush nozzle due to the fact that paint is thin, it's also see-through. Wizard brush is right on cue with the stark contrast with the sea blue.
Cue the montage, cue the montage, cue the montage.
Acathelian green hit the scene, but in dark hue with the blue in the seams.
Lovely.
Look at this brickwork, gonna bring it down with this black ink wash, then back up with this dry brush, Corax white on the downward strike.
You don't have to be so vigorous, you can keep it light. You can do it light then. Jesus. Yeah, sorry about that.
He was ready to move on from his usual 90s hip-hop music video approach to beginning projects. He checked over the details with great meticulousness. He knew they needed protection, so varnish was the obvious choice.
He decided to start with the roof sections, dry brushing in a light turquoise green to create some volumes of light. Dry brushing in now some Lothern blue. Now to Rhinox hide to find all of the brown parts, or at least the parts that will be brown when he's done with them. Having painted the brown parts on the roof section, he decided to move on to the main body of the tower, painting all that he could find in the luscious brown. Cat. Varnishing again for its protection, he looked upon it, wondering. Now, to his glee, he was to move on to Retributor armor. A lovely, lovely gold. Finding all the parts that should be gold is a little bit like hunting for gold, except you don't actually find any gold, you just end up painting parts gold. Lovely. This also took absolutely ages. That thoughts became memories, memories became legends, legends became myths, myths became dust, and dust became molecules, and molecules turned into... The days had become hot, and he had become tired, and his knee hurt a bit, for some reason. But he continued to paint things gold, now moving on to the roof. Steel Legion drab. Some highlighty type things onto all of the brown. A different brown this time. A lighter brown. Look at this monumental change that is happening before thine eyes. Completely different. But we cannot leave the gold behind undry-brushed now, can we? Let's dry brush a lighter gold upon the slightly darker gold. You may not be able to see the change here, but believe me, there is change happening. Subtle arts, if you will. Then the wizard knew that to highlight gold we must use a light silver. And off he went, silver highlighting away. Returning to thematic blue, we are going to bluify all of these little triangle-y, pointy bits at the top. Returning to the light green, ghostly vapors is its name. We are going to highlight over the top of the pointy triangle-y bits. Looks like this, lovely jubblies. And now it is finished with the painting, it must be protected with the varnish. A very important step to stop fingers eroding the paint, etc. Now the wizard looked upon his works, but something was wrong. By the power of my mind, I will overcome. By the power of my mind, I will overcome, he thought. He must overcome. He will. I will overcome. I will. Rising from the darkness, the wiring tool. This is what I needed all along. And if you play it like a flute, you will disappear and become many. He was now able to move on to the lighting part of his project, knowing that the soldering monster would not bother him, and armed with the Conway board from TerrainTronics, he would need LEDs, wire-wrapping wire, this CR2032 battery holder, and this CR2032 battery, the dreaded soldering iron, which was now his friend, and some solder. Daffy taught him that the short leg was negative and the big leg was positive. The red wire was the positive, and the black wire was for the negative. He tested the green LED, then he tested the blue LED. Lovely jubbly. Then, using the amazing wire wrapping tool, he stripped both sides of both wires. Wire wrapping was incredibly easy and satisfying. He simply placed the wire in like so, then for this wire the long leg in the big hole, twisted, twisted, twisted. And it was done. Lovely jubbly. He attached it to the positive prong on the board, and the
the same with the negative. Having placed the battery in the battery holder, he tested it before attaching. Now, he did not want it to look like this, so he must cut down the wires. So he did, and reattached them. Same with the battery holders. Then carefully he moved on to the soldering stage, remembering that the soldering iron is incredibly hot, which he learned the one time when he gently touched his finger and it burnt it quite badly. Please practice safety. Done. Time to glue it in. Done, he thought. Gluing in the second one, he remembered to be careful to make sure the battery was accessible and the on and off switch was also accessible. And he left it so it could be rewired later. Lovely jubbly. Now for the body of the tower. Same thing as before, but now with a warm, flickering LED, which you can attach straight onto the battery holder. Would you look at that? He was really going for it now. He glued it in, again being able to access the batteries and the on and off switch, and made it so it could be rewired later as he got better at lighting and electronics. Now for the secret.
The wizard had recently brought a Patreon into existence, a place to share his musings on magical crafting with like-minded acolytes of the arcane. Quickly to find he was alone in this newly forged realm, screaming into the void. You could meet him there, ease his solitary existence, support his spellcraft, and... It's the present day me talking now. Well, not present day, because I've pre-recorded this. You're watching this in the future, so either way, past tense. But I'm going to speak in present tense. Basically, no one's joined the Patreon yet, which I've set up, which is fine. That's fine. So if you did join it, it would just be, probably just be you. Just me and you having a chat. So, you know, I'm up for a chat. I'm not lonely. It's fine. If you do like these videos and you want to keep seeing them, it's a way to support the channel and make sure, you know, that I can, you know, do them and that. It's good, these Patreon sections. I think they're going really well. I mean, I haven't actually generated any Patreons yet, but I enjoy them, so. Pow!
He wanted something special for the tower room. He began to spray 2 bases matte white. He took this Pilar Glacier contrast paint, painted it upon its surface, with Ecthelian green mixing like 90s tie-dye. It would begin to emanate its magic. It may very well have fucked up when it dried, but painting over this ghostly vapor will see to that. Fine. We'll be gluing over these glow-in-the-dark crystals, and you won't see any of that anyway. This is a very simple process, gluing them roughly in the center. Now we have 2 soul crystal platforms that we will place inside of the tower house. Using our trusty old friend superglue, of course. He thought. Gotta remember it's in past tense. He felt the magics now growing. He was able to let go of his fear and trepidation, for the towers had risen and all was well. He hoped you enjoyed the video and liked the reveals that he stayed up till 12 to do at nighttime. He was very tired the next day. And he'd very much like it if you'd consider subscribing. And links in the description to all the things used, including TerrainTronics, and a big thank you to Michael from Nat1 Videos for being a wizard and a legend. Go well, friends. I shall see you again at the turning of the tide.